and I would like to start with you, Squeaks. You've been playing a little game called Warhammer 40K.
Just a little game.
What is it called? Space Marines 2? Yeah, go for it. What's
Yeah,
this game?
something. I don't know. It's hard to even remember what the title is. Yeah, it's not like I've been waiting a massive amount of
It's not like
generations
it's
and years
all
for
of
this
my
game to come
TikTok
out.
feed right now.
Yeah,
all my reels with this.
seriously, there is so much lore I know right now because of TikTok. Yeah, so I'm not going to get into the story of the thing, but I will talk about Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 is a game that other people need to take notes, or other companies need to take notes on how to release a game and feel like it's full value. So this game, what I love about it so much is that besides the amazing campaign that it has, that continues from the first one, that it has its PvE and it has your PvP. That's the whole package, guys. Okay, give it all to us. That's what a game should be, right? I didn't know this thing was a fucking hard process now, just give me those three things. So what I like a lot about this horde, bloody, gruesome, sexy as fuck game is that when you're playing the campaign, the PvE comes along as a different squad. So when you're playing the campaign, hey, Titus is back, baby. He's done being, I would say, falsely accused, but whatever. From his imprisonment, he's back at war. But what he does is he leads a squad, but in a way directs a second squad. So when you're in the campaign, you're doing your thing. The second squad is you going back after the level, playing as the PvE portion. So you're getting that second side of it. It's not like this is separate DLC that will show that side. It's already there for you.
I love that.
The best part about that is it's not tied in to specific characters, but more of specific voices in a way. So
that's interesting.
What I mean by that is that you pick whatever class you want. Okay. There's about, oh my goodness, on the top of my head, 6 or 7 classes. I'm playing as a heavy now because other people were playing too much of a different class I was playing, but whatever. I'm playing as a heavy now, spent some time on it. And my voice actor will portray how the story is going. But that voice actor could be in any type of class. So
interesting.
It ties really well in customer creation with telling the story at the same time. Now, character customization is badass as hell. It literally feels like, am I painting my own Warhammer character?
That's been the consensus. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I get into I love the lore of Warhammer. I'm not a fucking crazy on it, but I did specifically if people know or notice or whatever, I do have I'm a ultramarine. Sorry, that's the fucking thing I've always loved since getting into the lore of Warhammer. So I never cared to venture off of the what is it, black scars or white scars, black Templars, whatever the hell, and salamanders and chaos, whatever. So that was it. But I painted my helmet red, meaning I'm a sergeant. Okay. Motherfuckers better recognize that. I'm my blue armor, my helmet's red. Okay. So, so it really feels like that. What you do is kind of unlock a certain paintings for your faction or chapter.
Oh, so you have to actually unlock them, huh? You don't knock them.
A little bit. It's not very satisfying unlocking these certain things because they're only unlocking logos essentially. So say if you want to be a salamander, you can unlock the fucking lizard head, but then other little paintings that could go on it. It's not that great into it. The real customization comes into where once whatever class you're playing, you unlock the uncommon and the epic and the legendary type of piece of shoulder or your leg. So each piece is different. So it really does feel like you're putting a character together. If you're really playing Warhammer, different helmets, legs, whatever, even your weapons upgrade to have different images on them too. So I think that's phenomenal how much you can customize a character. Now I know obviously a lot of things are going out right now that the customization for Dragon Age, right, is going wild right now.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to get into another game because I got the 3 greatest games that are out right now, which is the Black Myth, Warhammer, and World of Warcraft. I don't need nothing else. But this fucking Dragon Age keeps popping up on my TikTok. It's pissing me off.
I'm I was watching class videos last night of the different classes for the game I don't own.
And I'm like,
okay, so I'm going to be a ranger.
And I'm like, I'm going to be a necro sorcerer. So, shit. Are we playing this game together? Probably.
I think so.
Guess. So anyway, I don't want to get off top. But PvE is great. Following the stories, you continuously do it to earn XP to unlock Basically, what I like is not a loot system. You're
Hmm.
getting this XP and it's rewarding you with the next like tier of gear. So, meaning when you log in and you play with different characters or whatever, it doesn't feel like, oh man, you got some badass gear, you spent some time in it, got some cool boxes. No, when you see someone that looks really dope, it's because they spent that much time into that class to unlock that highest set of gear. So it's different. It's that loot system, but I like it. So like when someone like freshly looks clean and then they look at me and I'm kind of like suited up, oh, like you're spending time in this class, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, PvP, like Gears of War type feel. I think a lot of people put that out there already.
Hmm.
When it comes to shooting, versus team deathmatch, whatever, that's great. I mean, I haven't
How does
played
the
too much of the
combat
PvP.
feel? Does the shooting feel like Gears of War, or does that feel like
For
Halo? Or is there?
yeah, definitely like a Gears of War feeling.
Okay.
I think that's part of that third party also, but definitely
Yeah.
it's got the whole like, okay, so if I'm using just a normal pistol, no scope, you could kind of like zoom in just a tiny bit, like the Gears of War
Yeah.
would.
I've been hearing a lot of people say that
Yeah.
this is like the first Xbox 360 game we've gotten in 10 years, kind of thing. I've been hearing that a lot. That this
Whoa.
game
Yeah.
feels like a 360 game, not by visuals, but by how it's just like PvE, PvE, and PvP. Sorry,
Yeah.
and then it's just like
Yeah.
simplified in a way that is what we wanted. It's not bogged
Yeah.
down by systems we don't want. Does that sound right
Oh
to
my
you?
gosh, yeah. Yeah, perfect. And then it doesn't feel so cluttered as fuck. So I think of PvP. And one of the games is like Call of Duty, and I'm like, man, that I know Call of Duty's massive, whatever the fuck,
Yeah.
but the
Oh yeah.
screen is so overwhelming. I literally had to tell Daniel, like, Daniel, where do I go, dude? Like, this is wild. But everything's just
Yeah.
clean. It's like you said, the simplified, and that's what it just works.
Mhm.
Uh, everything about it is like really simplified, and it's challenging at times too. So if we're going back to the not so much of the campaign, but when you're doing PvP or PvE, actually no, fuck that, the campaign too. I had to lower that level of difficulty. I'm like, what the shit's going on here?
Hmm.
Because the swarms get wild, and I think that's a lot of the times where people were doing the whole aliens swarms of hell divers going to like
Yeah.
Space Marine kind of like memes,
Yeah.
because at times you're just getting swamped with these swarms. And man, I tell you what though, when something is epic in that game, it is fucking epic. When you have what I love is it almost seems like it's like the fake stuff that you would see in a video game. But like, hey, there's a bunch of aliens climbing up this building. We need to make sure they don't get there. When all the aliens they're like stacking on each other to get up to the building or the edge or whatever ledge, you shoot that like swarm and it goes down. Like it doesn't feel like, oh, you're looking at it, but you gotta wait for them to come on the ledge. Like
I see what you're
something.
saying.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's more
It's
dynamic.
not.
Like it's actually being affected
Yeah,
by the damage you're putting out there. It's not like a
exactly.
tower being made that's like, okay, that's a tower. I can do damage
Yeah,
to the tower. It's more like I'm actually
yeah,
knocking them down. Okay.
yeah, and it doesn't feel like you have to wait for them to come on the ledge to make sure
Yeah.
you can actually hit them. It's
Yeah.
not it's there for. It's not just there for cinematic. But speaking of environmental, like views, depths, whatever, man, this game is such a piece of art. Like, I swear to you, it feels at certain times that am I in the tabletop game right now? Like, there is just shit going on everywhere. Like, when you look at a
Yeah.
tabletop, right, you got the armies there, and you're like, man, that's a lot of army going on, right? Like, on both sides.
Yeah.
It's the death of like view or whatever. Like, there's a whole war waging in front of you. I mean, obviously you can't do anything with it. It's just there for views. But man,
Hmm.
take a picture of that bitch and put that shit on the wall. This thing is gorgeous. Like now, speaking of like image and stuff, I will get to like what I think is very like my cons about the game, and
Yeah.
some of that is okay. Let me back up a little bit. There's times where there was in the beginning where cinematic like CGI, like when you play an old game, you're like a PlayStation game, right? And you're like, oh my god, it's a 3D fucking scene. That's what I always used to
Yeah.
call them, right? When the graphics get a little better, you
Oh
had a
yeah.
little bit of that, and I was like, oh, old school, yes. I'm like, right, like splurge on
Right
me,
away it
Titus.
reminds me. We were just talking about Devil May Cry, but it right away reminds me of that beginning of Devil May Cry when he's like sitting in the chair.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah.
and it was like, okay, guys, stop. Everybody pay attention. The cinematic's going on. Don't you dare try to press hold down next. Are you serious? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So then we got some of that. So that faded away after the first. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird because it was like a little bit of gameplay, and then that happened. So I'm like, oh, okay, are we not getting that? Maybe it was just a big moment where they wanted to up the graphics, whatever.
Mhm.
So in-game graphics on certain cutscenes, I was having issues. I don't know. It's definitely got to have a patch come out for it because that shit turned down like it was a 360 game.
Yeah, just not optimized.
So yeah. I know I'm running on performance mode, but it should nothing in 2024 should go down that low to where it feels like I'm playing a 360 game. So I think that's just some patches that need to be tweaked out that will release. But it definitely does make me hard to focus on the story when you're like, what the fuck's going on in my game? This is weird. Like it looks horrible.
That's fair. Yeah.
And then I think the button layout was a little difficult for me. I text this to you. It feels like I'm playing Elden Ring, but I have to button mash. So like I'm not.
That's weird.
Used to like I'm gonna use my melee weapon with the RB and then parry with the LB, but I'm also like making sure like I have the gun controls feel right. But a lot of the buttons on your controller, like A, B, Y, whatever, are like dodging, reloading, which is normal. But the combat, like fighting, because there's no like, and I think that's a positive. There's no like weapon switching except for like guns. Like you could jump into melee and shooting simultaneously almost.
Yeah.
So I think that's maybe why it's there instead of like locking you into a set of controls that are for melee. And then, okay, I'm going to switch, and then the button layout changes, you know?
So maybe that's why it's forcing you to use the entire map at one time, or the entire controller layout at one time. Yeah. When a lot of times we would be like, okay, you press this button or whatever, select to switch over to melee or ranged. Instead, it's letting you utilize both, but in doing so, you load that controller. It's how Fable used to play a lot of times too, where like Fable used to have to press a button to activate different spells, a different button to activate different spells, so it kind of feels a little bit like that. So, okay.
So that's just me. More time, I'll get used to it. But yeah, this game's a must, man. Yeah,
it really. It sounded like you're freaking loving it.
Oh man, I am. Man. It's just so gruesome and brutal. And when you get those parries, like a little alien will be jumping up at me. Perfect parry. You just grab that bitch by the tail and throw him down and stomp his head. I'm like, oh yes. but I'm like, man, I don't know if that's the blood actually on me or my pants are just wet, you know.
Oh God.
But yeah. Did you have any questions about the game or just review?
I'm just now thinking like, might have to do mature on this episode when I upload it. No. My main thing is, does it feel like anything else is out right now? And I know you keep seeing a lot of Helldiver stuff like that, and then you're referencing Gears of War. Does it feel like anything else that people can go pick up and play, or is it a wholly unique experience?
I guess currently it's a unique experience, but it's nice to feel like it's like what I don't know, like it's like bringing what like we should have had. Cool. Yeah, it's bringing that back. And I don't know if there's anything like that right now that has like that's hitting all those marks of PvE campaign and PvP. Let's play World of Warcraft, you know. So, but
I've been.
It's definitely a must. Like, don't even wait for that shit to go on sale. Maybe like cheaper on CD keys. Like, it's worth the money. 100%.
So let's say out of 10, what are you dropping on it? What's your score?
I'm doing let's see. I'm trying to think of something clever, but I'll just go 9 Space Marines. I'm trying to think of something clever right away, and I couldn't.
All right. 9 Space Marines. All right, that's pretty good. 9 out of 10. As for Dragon Age: The Veilguard, are you a yes or no on that? It's coming out October 31st.
I was a no. Because, like I said, I have the top 3 games right now, man. I don't need anything else.
I'm fully in World of Warcraft, so I know I won't play a lot of it, but I do want to, because one of my favorite voice actors, she's from Dropout, or they're from Dropout. Erika Ishii is one of the voice actors for this. I'm like, I want to play Erika's character so bad. I really want to be a ranger now that I've been watching a lot of videos on rangers. There's this certain like, what's it like? It's basically a magic wielding ranger that can like shoot from super far. It looks super cool.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah.
It looks great. Like the combat I'm thinking of like Dragon Age 1 and Inquisitor, right? Inquisition. That is Inquisition. That I'm like, man, they like came with the times, because if it was like Dragon Age 1, I'm like, oh, I could hold off on it. Like I really enjoyed the game, but I'm like, I can wait, whatever. But man, this was like almost reminded me of Final Fantasy 7, how they did the remake where instead of selecting moves, it's Simon Stanley where you do the moves / fighting in real time.
I was about to say it's like they went from Inquisition old Final Fantasy to this new Final Fantasy. That's what it feels like just from the vision.
Yeah.
But a Western RPG doing that, not an Eastern RPG where, sometimes it's just a different feel. All right. So
I think I am going to get it. Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to get a PC or a console?
Will Xbox, is it cross-platform, you think?
I have it on it. I have every console. So you tell me what you're getting and I'll get the same.
Well, because then I was like, I could split it. Oh, well, I don't know. Are you that open? Are you spread?
I'm not going to buy multiple copies. I'm just saying which
system are you going to get it on? I mean, the original plan was PS5, but
I got the PS5.
What do you think? I mean, whatever, because the thing is I family share. So for me, it's going to be cheaper if I get it on the console. So
I was going to hit you up on that, by the way. Steam's doing family share now. Did you see that?
Oh, I did.
Yes.
6 people.
6 people. Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay.
I think that's all 6.
We need to talk and get that set up.
Because, maybe we should.
Yes. I know. Jonathan's sitting over there playing Raft all the time. We got to upgrade him too. So that'll be good. It's like Raft and Satisfactory's his entire library right now. Okay. Well, I have a secondary thing for you. Okay. Today when we're recording, guys, it's my football team Cowboys playing your football team Baltimore. All right.
Yeah.
So I thought let's do a little bet on this, see who wins, and let's do you could totally change this. The winner gets to choose what class the other one plays in Dragon Age.
You fucking. But I'm set. I'm set on what I want. Okay, you know what? Fuck that. Okay. How harsh would you? If I said I wanted to be a sorcerer,
I'm not going to make you useless. I'm not going to just like make you go healer type of thing like that.
Okay.
You got to be behind me all times.
Okay, deal. Yes, you're okay.
All right, here it is. Come on, Cowboys, because I'm really looking at the Ranger a lot right now. Okay.
I know. I really want to play this. Like, you know what I love though about the classes is that how different you can make them. You know, it almost feels like Diablo.
Yes. Well, I'll say this. So you know how we were talking about how like they're not doing the old Dragon Age Inquisition stuff like that, but there is a spec in the Rangers that lets you basically play that way again. So it's like it's there. Okay. Like the gameplay changes based off of what you're going to be playing as.
Yeah.
I went in as a maybe, and now a yes. That's what just happened, guys.
I know. When the videos came out, they're like, oh yeah, you could do this sorcerer. That reminded me of Diablo, where it's like 3 different types. I'm like, fuck, man, that's so badass. So I'm like, they took the Thunder one, obviously from Diablo 4, Thunder Tank Sorcerer. Like, okay, come on, guys, I know what you're doing there.
If it works, it
works. yeah. But I'm like, damn, man. Yeah, I think I'm locked. But yeah, okay, deal.
You think you're locked? You better hope your Baltimore wins.
Yeah.
All right.